Hey everyone, Kaiser Soze here. It's been a while since I've done a video, but with the upgrade in Valks, we've been using a lot of GoVaHo and GoVaHo attacks, which is golems, Valks with hogs or loons. Hogs certainly a little bit more, especially on the anti-3 style basis, so I wanted to capture a couple of them. Our clan war is just about to end here. Yeah, 49 minutes left in this war, which we have won, which is great, and we're going to lose some of the previous attacks, so I just wanted to be able to record them. The ones I'm going to be showing today are, I think, my attacks, but other people have been using them as well. It's just basically I've been trying to go with a really generic set. So I'm going to just stop here for 1 second. We take a look down low, and we see that I'm using 9 or 10 Valkyries on all of these attacks, 3 heals, and then 4 quakes. So that's 3 of my own quakes plus 1 in the clan castle. In my own clan castle, I am not taking a second golem. What I find is that by taking 2 golems, at least some of the time, the Valks are so fast, they get out ahead, and they get out ahead so fast that I have 2 full golems that are unbroken. So I've switched it out, added a few Valkyries into the clan castle. It could be 3 max Valks with a Wiz and an Archer, for instance, and I'm also wanting to take 15 hogs. Now, whether or not I go 9 or 10 Valks depends on where I am going to be putting the quake. If I can quake in and gain access to the heroes or the crossbows, whatever it is that I'm looking for, without wall breakers, then I'll save some wall breakers and be able to take an extra Valkyrie to be able to make it 10. Otherwise, I'm going with 9 Valks and then 5 wall breakers. Generally, you only need 3 wall breakers, but I always carry an extra 2 in case of a fail. And then 15 hogs. So what the plan generally is I'm just going to quake into the core. So here, I'm going to just take out that whole wall section by the Wiz Tower, I think. Give me access to both the heroes and this whole channel here and compartment where the crossbow is. And then I use 3 heals on the Valks, including, I have a tendency to use them pretty early. And then by taking 15 hogs, it gives me the opportunity to deploy 5 times in small groups. So I basically like deploying 3 hogs at a time on individual defenses as those defenses in any given compartment become distracted with what's going on. And I just kind of circle it around. It could go in either direction depending upon what happens with the Valks, and go from there. So I'm just going to let this one run. Pause, sorry, just 1 second. You can also see how fast this is. So this base is taken out literally in 1 minute and 50 seconds. So all I'm trying to do here is create a nice big funnel. So I let the golem sit for a few seconds to make sure that those Wiz are safe, because I don't want the golem pushing in too soon. I know that this giant space here is a natural break for the funnel, so I just put the Valks on the outside buildings, knowing that the nearest thing is going to be that army camp that will be attracted to that, and then from there it's going to be a straight shot in. The heroes go down along with some remaining Wiz. We're right at the point here I'm going to pop this clan castle. Now, popping it, if there's a lava in the clan castle, generally speaking, that's a little bit safer for Valks than if there's a drag and other things. Naturally, I don't have any poison, so you want to be able to make sure some Wiz or the Archer Queen are following around if it's a drag. The Lava Hound, though, does so little damage that I'm not really too concerned about it. So here we can see I'm on my second heal. Now, I don't have all of the inside defenses distracted too much, but I know that these defenses are grouped close together. There's no bombs, no springs in between whatsoever, and that max, at least for Town Hall 9, crossbow is distracted. So I begin trickling in some hogs here on the outer compartments to be able to take care of those defenses, so there's no need to be able to break. And now I'm just continuing along here with the remainder going in, because I know, once again, this top compartment, no spaces, no spring traps. So it really affords some a good chance to be able to use hogs without fear. So, and again, I'm using the heals, and I use the heals to keep the Valks up as opposed to on the hogs. The double giant bomb set there takes out that string of hogs, but regardless of whether or not those that group of hogs had gone down, this was going to be a 3-star nonetheless. So the hogs jump over, take out that Wiz Tower, the few remaining hogs here, take out the last cannon. And you can see over at the top end, we're still working on this Lava Hound. So it's chasing around, it's doing almost nothing. The preference would be to somehow tell my troops not even to bother dealing with it. But certainly you can see that with the wizards and the archer queen that's there, it's not going to be a problem once it pops, and naturally it's much too late anyway. Now, just as a point of reference here, you could see that one golem, I only had a single golem going into tank, and it's still unbroken over the entire attack. So that was a 3-star on an anti-3 style base. And we're going just into number 2 here. And you can see this one is up at the top. It's weighs 70, so 70,000. That is a fully max. There is no walls left to upgrade, no heroes left to upgrade, no defenses left to upgrade. That is a completely maxed Town Hall 9. And it is a good style of base. It's not an open anti-3, but you could see from where all those bomb placements potentially could be for the DGBs, it's certainly not an easy base to hog, and it is full max defenses. So once again, I'm just going to pause the same way. I know I'm going to be quaking in here. I'm going to be quaking in directly over this wizard tower to give me access to the queen, because the queen's platform is up against the wall, so the queen will jump the wall. So I have a single golem going down. I just want to make sure there's a big enough funnel so that the quakes are going to get to the internal and the core. I would take one less Valk in order to take some wall breakers naturally if needed to be able to open it up. But I know that there's going to be a substantial break here open to the core. So the Valks go in now with the funnel. Another Lava Hound's in there. The Wiz are working on it with the Queen. I've got one early heal. I never know where they're going to go, right? Or they could go left, they could go right. It's breaking in at a corner, which makes it even more treacherous. So the first heal goes down early, and you're just choosing the direction for it. Second heal should be coming right in the middle. And now you can see I've got hogs coming in from 6 o'clock. And now I'm putting in some hogs right at 12 o'clock because you can see those compartments are completely distracted. And that's what you really want. You want to make sure that you're using heals here on Valkyries to keep other defenses distracted, to allow the hogs to be able to walk around the perimeter, killing defenses without having much stuff shoot at them. So now I've got the final set of hogs just going in, taking out those defenses. Having 15 hogs is substantial. Again, it allows for up to 5 separate deployments of 3 hogs each on that, or you can do 3 of 5, depends on the grouping of the bases and all that stuff. But as we could see, there's 20 seconds left here for cleanup, and I still have the full unbroken golem. So if the golem's coming into tank, one thing that you need to be mindful of is you don't want to have so much tanking that it takes away from offensive troops. You just want enough tanking to make sure that it's going to distract those defenses to give your offensive troops a chance to be able to come in behind and kill them. So crushed it on that one as well. No problem. And so again, with the set, 3 heals, 3 quakes. Both of those had Lava Hounds in the core. So we're going to go to the last war. I'm not even sure what style of attacks were being used here. I just wanted to make sure that it's recorded. So it's 6 and 5. So replay number 1 is on their 6. Right, so this, on the other hand, is just a brutally bad base. This is just a mass. So this is what they refer to as a white flag style base or an anti-hog base. There's so much space and so much room on it. So you can go wipe this, but I knew that I'd be able to just use mass Valks on it and have some fun. So you can see the replay ends in 1:10. So this was just so fast for these Valks to be able to come in and completely crush it. So here, this is just a fun attack. I put it in a single golem and then just backed it up with Valkyries on the 2 outer compartments, knowing that most are going to be forced in. I put a jump down, giving myself access to the clan castle, to the archer queen, and to the town hall compartment. An early heal went down to be able to keep them up at the beginning. And the Valks are and then what I did, is I put my king and the queen over to start the cleanup early on one side. So the Valks in the core, I like using the heals early, especially if there's dense defenses. It's okay. There's a lot to the Valks. If you keep a whole group of them like that, sparse defenses towards the end of the raid itself are simply not going to be able to deal with it. I would much, much, much rather use heal to keep 10 Valks up than not use the heal and then try to time it right at the end with 3 Valks left. So you can see it's a massive group. The heroes are still up, the queen's ability is still there. A massive group of Valks are still left, and only a minute. I literally think I could have taken out 2 of those bases, one right after another, without deploying any other troops. Just totally crushed it, no question. All right, I'm going to do maybe a couple more. I might be able to even get in the ones from this war as well. So this is now on 5. So this is just a straight hog raid. Naturally, Valks GoVaHo is the flavor of the month, so to speak. But if a base doesn't call for a specific attack, we don't want to get so hung up on Valks, thinking that Valkyries have to be used in every single attack either. So this is just what they refer to as a shattered GoVaHo. So 2 golems going in, use the jump spell, give access to the archer queen. This is not the first attack, so I know a lava is in the clan castle, so I'm just going to simply ignore it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to pull it and then pop it early and have the pups chase around the hogs. And you can see the base design is just weak. It doesn't have enough space in between, so I am not concerned or worried about spring traps, and I know large groups of hogs just kept under heal as we go through are going to do well. So I'll just 4 times it here. Poison goes down to get rid of the pups along with the Larrys that were left, always keeping some whiz on the back end, and you can see the whiz are put on the opposite side of the hogs, so this way they kind of meet up in the middle and it takes a lot less time to be able to clean it up. So that was another 3-star attack there. And now we're going to get into this war. I'll return home, look at this war, go to my team, and replay number 2. Again, this is a GoVaHo on an anti-3 style base. So those bases that are spread, you don't know where the double giant bombs are. It's so hard to predict pathing when you deploy for how to set off either the double giant bomb or take out defenses. What you can do is surgically deploy hogs, knowing that when they go off, when the double giant bomb set gets hit, if hogs set it off, you're only going to be losing a small group of hogs at one time. So here my plan is to quake out this entire wall. It's 8 tiles long, but what I do is I mishit it, and I do it 1 tile too close to that storage. So it doesn't open up the corner right behind where that gold mine is. So I put down the golem, it's distracting. And the biggest thing here just for the funnel is I want the wall breakers to live, so I put the golem away from the mortar, knowing that the mortar then is going to shoot the golem, and then I put the wall breakers onto the mortar to make sure that the splash damage does not kill the wall breakers. So I've got a funnel going. I know that even taking out, normally I would prefer to take or keep that last barracks up, but this time I wanted to make sure that my king and queen enter first. I don't want to have the Valkyries go in and pop the clan castle because there is a drag in the clan castle. So I put in some whiz with the heroes behind just to make sure that they're going to be following up close behind those Valkyries. The Valkyries go down and the drag from the clan castle targets them. So I want to get an early heal, and that's followed by a second early heal because of the dense defenses there. And now we could see, again, I'm trickling in some hogs. Small groups of 3, so I've got a couple going in at the bottom when those defenses were distracted, and up towards the top, because the Valkyries are working on those Teslas, there's a lot of distracted defenses up there as well. So I want to get a few hogs in to be able to take care of some of those defenses without even having those defenses turn and shoot the hogs. My third heal goes down because, again, it is the goal, just to keep those Valkyries healthy. Not only do I want them to be able to smash through walls, but most importantly, their job is to stay alive, do damage, and distract while the hogs run around the outer perimeter. So you can see the bombs are being set off now, but I did not lose an entire set of hogs to those double giant bombs because they've been surgically deployed. So surgically deployed just means you're deploying them in small groups, a few at a time. You're not just dumping them in a larger group of 16 to 18. And by doing that, you just trickle them in as defenses are distracted, and then you use the heals to be able to keep the Valkyries alive. We're into the cleanup now, and naturally crushed it. did well. Had Valk still up, some hogs still up, both the heroes that were still there. And you can see the set that I used in terms of what it was here at the bottom. We've got a single golem, 9 Valkyries with 3 more max in the clan castle, 15 hogs, the 3 heals, and then the 3 quakes with the 3rd or the 4th quake in the clan castle. So you could take some wall breakers. In this case I took 5, even though I only needed 3. Taking the extra 2 in case of a fail is big, but you just plan for that when you're busting in. All right, so that's basically what I have been doing for my GoVaHo attacks in terms of a generic set. Naturally based styles, especially once it's been hit in a scout. You might be better off taking a minion here or there to be able to clear out part of the funnel, but the concept is basically the same. You want to quake in to give you access, hopefully, to the Archer Queen, a crossbow, the clan castle, be able to bust in with some Valkyries. You want to use the 3 heals and use them pretty early to make sure those Valkyries stay alive as much as possible. While the perimeter defenses are shooting at the Valkyries, you want to deploy hogs generally in small groups, anywhere from 3 to 6 at a time, on some of those defenses as you work around to be able to avoid those double giant bombs. You let your heroes follow up. The golem generally does some tanking for the heroes more than the other things because the Valks get in front, and you let your heroes just kind of survive and pay attention to that. So that's how I'm using my GoVaHo. I'm going to be able to get some other people's attacks because they do it slightly differently, and some of those have been just as effective. I just wanted to make sure I captured this before those replays ended. All right, Kaiser Soze, maximum carnage.